We should confirm that this is to the yogurt, SynBio yogurt that we are.
Yeah, that we have.
This is a consent form.
Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah.
And, oh, all of you would. That's really interesting. Let's see how it turns out. Some of you didn't, some of you are a bit unsure, so we will see during the debate how this goes. Yeah, now we're taking the temperature, so let's get ready to begin the debate. Where we stand, gene-modifying food is something that started about 20 years ago, and its use has increased since then. But where do we stand today? What is the public opinion about GMO? Could you tell us a bit more about that?
The public opinion is different. If you look in Sweden, in Europe, you have differences in Europe, and of course globally, you see different opinions in the United States, in Brazil, in China, India. To look at it in Sweden, it's generally negative, and even so in Europe, particularly since the moratorium in the early noughties, of course we've seen so little of it. So generally, negative.
Yeah. And why do you think that the audience here today seem to be pretty positive towards GMO? Why is that so?
I think they're studying the topic. And then it's easier to get positive because you know more about it. There is a lot of fear of the unknown because you don't want genes in your food.
Anthony, you are studying about synthetic biology. How is this negative feeling towards GMO affecting your research and your science?
Well, I've never received any death threats yet. I've spent most of my research career in America where this isn't such an issue. But I thought maybe Mats might have a comment here because you saw it at the start of this debate, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about why it came out negative from the start, very differently from America.
Yes, I've been debating it some 10 years ago, but I think maybe there were some unfortunate circumstances and partly some ignorance and some ignorance on behalf of the scientific community as well. If I could just give an example, an illustration, we have been working, at that time I did also work with questions related to animal ethics, the use of animals as experimental models in science. And we had by that not so much violent animal activists, but in the United States they had and have. And I met with Andrew Rowan, he's a veterinarian at Tufts University and has been working very much in Sweden and working with these issues. And they had violent break-ins in laboratories where they released the animals and destroyed the laboratory equipment and so on. And I asked Andrew Rowan if he could explain the difference between the United States and Sweden in this regard. And he gave an answer that I think is of some relevance to this area as well. He said, in his view, Swedish scientists did two things that he was so important. For one, they created a forum where different opinions could be discussed. So they created different kind of fora, but the animal ethics committees were started and also had representatives of these who were concerned against the animal rights people. The second thing is that they went public in various ways, and this I think is a key, and declared that they were morally concerned that this is not easy. So they said that we're able to communicate that we need to use animals as experimental models at some stage of the development of new medical therapies or so on and so on. This is not easy because we sometimes have to inflict suffer on animals and kill animals to reach this end in order to save lives and treat people who have diseases of various kinds. And I think this key that they were able to say, this is not an easy thing. We are morally concerned. And maybe one explanation of why it sometimes goes wrong when technology is, I know biologists and stuff for myself, is that we tend to be so, for good reasons, fascinated by what we can do, what we can see, explain mechanisms that we haven't yet so far been able to understand, and very little cautionary discussions on what could the consequences be, that this kind of concern that could meet and also give information to those people who are concerned for that. So if you don't have that, you create a vacuum. And that vacuum is very soon filled by other actors in society that have political definite agendas. If you have to say if we talk too much.
I will stop you there.
Okay, so from a sort of scientific or from a philosophical, logical point of view, genetic modification has been going on through evolution all the way. It's modification, it's creating new organisms. Animal breeding and plant breeding has been taking place by natural selection for a long time. What we have with your technology now is more definite techniques. And it seems too hard to communicate this. The environmental organizations can pinpoint and say that there's something special with this gene technology that is different from natural selection. And they don't have to explain why. They can run with that. And I think part of it is that they got hold of at least in Europe, they got hold of the discussion before the scientists themselves became concerned about the possible consequences. It's a hypothesis.
Yeah. So, how do you think this negative attitude that we have, has this affected the regulations that we have here in Sweden contra in the USA, for example?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you or someone that knows.
Yeah, I think it's definitely have. And you have this. I debated this with people at the Svenska Naturskyddsföreningen. What would that be? The Natural Conservation Movement in Sweden. And they, because in the United States you have a legislation that goes on, focused on different applications, and you try each application, regardless of the technology that you use to achieve that. In Europe, including Sweden, they managed to say that a specific kind of technology should be evaluated, regardless of the application. So not the case by case, but a general prohibition on the technology. Sweden had a similar legislation regarding nuclear energy as well. So I think this creates, and maybe the vacuum was, I'm not speculating, maybe the vacuum, you may know this better, maybe the vacuum was created, made it possible for concerned biologists, ecologists, conservation movement people to come into the authorities that you have to get approval from.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's a cultural difference that we've always, or at least had for quite a long time. Namely, there is a discussion on how we perceive risks. And we've been talking about GMOs and picturing some kind of gene-modified burger or something like that, a carrot. But genetics is a general purpose technology. You can use it for so many things. Biologics, drug manufacture. We've heard about manufacturing some kind of new new fortified yogurt, etc., here today. And when you look at this new technology through the lens of a hazard assessment, of course you perceive hazards, but you know that these could be very low risk hazards. Doing a risk hazard assessment, of course, you find it dangerous, and then it's easier not to use it. But if you use risk management, you can start to test it out, as Mats said. And I personally think that this is perhaps a relic of the 70s. We live in an age of big data and of analysis of information. So perhaps this will change. We'll discuss it further on.
Yeah, Stefan Roos, you work a bit with this. We've talked a lot about risks now. What are the possibilities of synthetic life and
Depending on when it comes to microbes, I think I discussed that shortly. I mean, expressing different compounds in gut bacteria, for instance, that could have a positive effect, more like a drug-like effect. You could also improve microbes to be better in preserving foodstuffs, for instance, because that's a major problem with today's food production, that we lose more than 15% of the food that are produced because of spoilage. If we could just, hinder that to some degree, a lot would be win by doing that. That's another possibility.
Anthony, have you something to add to the possibilities?
Benefits. Well,
yeah.
So I think, first of all, there are some genetically modified